All right, we're here. I think I'm here. Hi, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to Lenny Schmidts Quarantine Comedy. Sorry about being late. Paulie V's here. Nice, man. Nice to see Paulie V. Of course, the Brenda Runnion's here. Mr. Mulligan. Robin, thank you. I got a new background. Yeah, I feel very good about myself. Look, my name's above my head. How cool is that? I hope you guys can hear me, I assume. Yeah, lots of tech problems. Tons of tech problems today. I always have trouble on Monday because I'm never more. Woo. I always have trouble on Monday because something about the weekend. I forget how to do everything in 2 days. That was chaos. I forget how to do everything by Monday. Monday morning comes, I wake up, and I have no idea what I'm doing. So there we go. Let's move that. Let's move this. Hi, everybody. Thanks for being here. Everybody come on in one at a time. Say hello. Say hello. I got a new background. What else? What do we have going on? I didn't check a lot of here's what we have going news-wise. California is shut down again. Thank you very much. Awesome. Good to be here. Thanks. I'll get to that in a few seconds. Thanks for being here. Lenny Schmidts Quarantine Comedy every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 6 o'clock Pacific time. Thanks for tuning in. We talk to some comics. We talk to some entertainers. I talk about the news, talk about stuff like that. That's pretty much that's what we got. Again, I have the wrong notes in front of me. Man, I could not be less prepared for today's show. Dan Carlson show from Friday is up on YouTube. You can see that now. You can check out YouTube to catch all our videos. Please watch all of the videos on YouTube and like the videos when you can. That is very helpful to me and helpful to us. I really, really appreciate it. As far as our sponsors go, once again, let's see how many sponsors we have. This is always fun. Let's see our sponsors for the week. Here we go. Yeah, we still have no sponsors. Thanks. So the show is sponsored by, we have two sponsors. One, the brand new album Secret Daddy, which is my album, which will be out this week, Wednesday, worldwide. You can buy it anywhere worldwide. You can still pre-order it till tomorrow. I'm sorry, you go just today. You want to pre-order it, it's cheaper. Go to my website, go somewhere, hit any of the links. I'll put them in the bio for tonight. Check out the links and order my album. It's cheaper if you get it today. Price goes up tomorrow. So there you go. That is one of the sponsors. It's a great album. It's a lot of fun. It's work safe friendly. It's recorded live in the Chicago area. It's my third album, my second one in the last 15 months. And that is sponsoring the show as well. Also, the show is sponsored by, I'll be honest with you, the Patreon page. So anyone that sponsors my Patreon page, many of my Patreon members are here watching the show on a regular basis, as they are. All of the money from the Patreon page, honestly, is used to support this show. So there you go. That's how I pay for the show. It's people that buy my album and the people that support the Patreon page. That's what I have. Again, the news, all there is California shut down again. If you live here again, stay home. Don't go anywhere. Do nothing. Bars are closed. Restaurants are closed. Gyms are closed. Salons closed. If you're going to get your hair done this weekend, forget it. It's not happening. You can't get your hair done. You got to turn around, go home. Everything. Gyms, no bars at all. Nothing. Don't. You know what? I'll be honest with you. Just wear your mask. I go over this all the time. Please wear your mask and do the right thing and do what you're supposed to do. But, man, I do the Uber Eats thing at night, and I drive down Ventura Boulevard, and, man, there's a couple of bars there that are packed like it is a college party every night. No masks, nothing, just a bunch of people standing there out there. I mean, overflowing into the streets. I got to slow down because it's like you're driving through a little area. You know what I mean? It's a little, what do you call it? What do you call that area where the kids live, the losers live, the frat area, frat row. That's it. It's like driving down frat row. It's crazy. So there's a lot of people. It's chaos. So please wear your mask. Look, man, wear your mask just for a couple of months. We'll see what happens. Maybe things will open up. Maybe cruise ships will open up too, by the way. Yeah, I needed the cruise ship gig to open up. So put your mask on. Stay home. All right, let's say hello to everybody who's here. Brenda, you're gonna watch your stuff on YouTube. Oh yeah, you saw Crazy Laugh Woman. Thank you. That's an older album. That's a recording back in Chicago in St. Charles, back when Obama was running for president. That's what, 12 years ago, 13 years ago, somewhere around there, almost 14 years ago. That's a great album. That's if you get a chance, check it out. It's online somewhere. That album is called Big Room, by the way. If you have the album, it's on there. The rest of you guys, Keith, Tammy, thank you guys for being here. Jeanette Bryant is here. All right, another friend from high school has chimed in. Keith Runnion's here. Roger's here. Good to see you, Roger. Roger Hunnell, my good video Video Comedy Friend. Go check out his page. Post your page, Raj, and I'll mention it. I don't remember. I think it's called Mayhem Comedy or something. Could that be right? Comedy Mayhem, something like that. Paulie V's here. Hi, Paulie. Yeah, they're selling. I heard they're selling the fantasy. There's a couple things they're selling. That's not good. Let's close that. Don't need it. Lenny Schmidts California Closer Tour. Thank you very much. Yeah, a lot of people not wearing masks. Okay, these are all my people that are here. I think we're good. I think we're gonna get going with our guests. That's what we're gonna get right to it. A bit of a rocky start today. Also apologize to my guest for that matter. So let's go there right now, folks. Your friend or my friend. I've known him for years. He's a stand-up comic. He lives in Houston right now. He works all over the world, all over the place. A lot of cruise ships. He's opened for years for Cher. He's done a lot of great performing. He was a street performer for years. That's one of the things I was always blown away by the talent of those guys. And he's one of the funniest guys I know. And he's one of the most knowledgeable guys about stand-up comedy that I know. So now that I've built him up so much, let's hopefully this doesn't go horribly south. Let's see if we can get Tommy Drake on here. Let's give that a shot. See Tommy Drake. All kinds of stuff. Oh my God, there he is. We're gonna see if I can get his sound. Hold on. Okay, all right, Tommy, say something, man.
Hello, chat. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. It all works perfectly.
Very cool. Hey, Lenny.
Hey, Tommy, what's up, brother?
It's good to see you, man. I missed you. I missed hearing you talk.
I miss you. I miss you. It's been a long time. It's been forever.
Hang on. Give me. I'm so bad at this. You have to give me 2 seconds to.
Dude, you have no idea who's bad at what. Did you see the opening? The 13 minutes of chaos.
I did see the opening, but now I'm gonna fix my problems.
I'm on the wrong microphone. I don't have my headphones. There's a whole bunch of things going on wrong over here in California.
Okay.
I will give credit to people tuning in. Tony Shea is here, all the way from New York City. My good friend Tony.
Lenny, I'm sorry. Everything's all better now.
Everything's better now. That's good. Hank Rusted's here too. Let's get up for Hank Rusted. I give people applause because I applaud for the show, Tommy, because I miss applause.
So we clap for our audience now. That's the new normal?
It's the new normal. It's the new normal.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is it. So when people come in, I clap and I go, "Hey, guess who's here? Lori's here. Lori's here. Lori Solanka's here." I will tell you, Paulie V's here. Did you hear that?
That's cool. Paulie V. Yeah, I saw Paulie V's here. I watched the beginning of the show. I'm just bad at this computer stuff. Congratulations on your album, by the way.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. I'm very happy. I hope it does well. We'll see. I'm very happy with the releases tomorrow. I don't know if I mentioned worldwide tomorrow. It'll be out. What are you doing, man? Are you still you're Houston, correct?
Yeah, I'm in Houston, and the only you're a little bit worse off than I am, but Houston is not well known as far as the shutdowns and everything.
Really? I thought because we're a mess, dude. We're not in good shape.
I know you guys aren't in good shape. We are also not in good shape. We were open back up, and then we're getting ready to lock everything back down again. And it was weird because it was heartbreaking because I got a bunch of bookings, not like they're real bookings, but not like big time shows, like little bars and little one nighter, right. The stuff that we thought we'd never do again. That sure, now when it comes along, we do it.
The things you find you're trying to find.
Yeah, it was keeping me sane, and it was like filling my and then they all got canceled. Like they're like, no, we can't open. We thought we could, and so I got to do like 2 of them, and then they all went away. So I'm going insane. I've been performing every night for almost 30 years, and I'm trying to figure out what else to do. Other than that, I mean, my health is fine. I get to spend time with my wife, a lot more time than we've ever spent together, which is great and interesting and different. Not what she signed up for at all. No. when we got married, it was like a couple weekends a month commitment for her, basically. 4 or 5 days a month, and now it's.
She's like, this sounds pretty good. And he's like, wait a second, I wasn't counting on all this. What the hell?
Yeah, she signed up for the reserves, and now she's in the war. Basically.
Dude, every comic's wife is going through the same thing. Every single comic's wife has been like, wait a minute, you're here again? You're still here? Wait a minute, what?
Our buddy John Wessling has a great bit about just not being able to find the bathroom in his own house. Oh, because he hasn't spent much time there,
Yeah, right.
now he's there. He's learning the layout.
Yeah, he's getting up. All right, Greer Michelle is here. Greer Michelle is here. Oh no, Manny Oliveira is here. Oh my
Oh
gosh.
boy.
Oh
Boy.
man. It's a good thing we can't hear him.
I love Manny. I miss Manny too. I miss hanging out with that guy.
Dude, I miss
do.
everybody, man. I gotta
Yeah.
tell you, it's just, I mean, I love, like you, I'm like you, dude. I'm home. I'm with the girls now. Both the girls have been here since March.
That's great. That's great that the girls are with you. I was going to
Yeah.
ask.
So it's been, I mean, and it's been, I gotta be honest, it's gone better than I thought. It's gone really well. The girls are like best friends. Here's the way it is now. They're best friends and they want to get rid of me every day. So they're
Okay.
like today. They
That's
were like,
healthy.
yeah. It's, well, I mean, I'm just glad they're friends. Even today, Lily was like, "Hey, Dad, could you go Uber?" She didn't even say, "Are you going to work tonight?" She said, "Can you go Uber eating tonight?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm going to go, especially now that the state is shut down. It's going to be busy, so I'm going to go deliver some food tonight." And so they're like, "Oh, good, good." Not like, "Oh, sorry, you have to Uber eat," but thank God you're leaving the house so we can be alone.
Well, as a parent, you know, I'm not a parent, but isn't their relationship with each other almost more important to you than their relationship with you?
Yes, absolutely. I agree. I think so, 100%. And the 3 or 4 months, in fact, now we just finalized, I mentioned last week, Lily's going to stay here now. Lily's going to stay in California and live with me.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, so we've just we're excited about that's great. I was hoping, I thought there was gonna be another 2 years for that to happen, but
Right.
made it happen now. And the only reason I did it, honestly, the reason I pushed for it was that they're getting along. So it's, we're in a 1-bedroom apartment right now. It's tight, but they're like, they're best friends. One of them comes home, they're all happy, they hug each other. I'm like, so yeah, I'm happy. When Anna first came out here, they hated each other, but I told him, I was like, eventually you guys are gonna miss each other. And after a year of Anna being here, Lily comes back and they're best friends. So yeah, I'm really glad they get along. That's all I care about. So
Yeah, that's great.
so that works. So that's what I got going on. I did one live show down in San Clemente 2 weeks ago before they shut everything down, and that was it. How were your live shows in Houston? Were they good?
Since I got sent home from the ships in May 14th or 15th, I've probably had 6 or 7 live performances.
Wow.
Scattered about. Yeah, but it's not,
but anything
not
is
a lot, but it's something. And some of them were good. Some of them were super uncomfortable, but still fun. I did a show in a backyard for a family group of about 20 people with John Wessling and another wonderful comic named Grady Pruitt.
Okay.
And it was super uncomfortable, but also it was just great to feel like I was doing comedy. That was like one of the first ones back. And then a couple shows at clubs, and then it's, I feel bad for the Houston Improv is setting up these showcases, and then they set them up, and then 2 days later they have to cancel them.
Yeah, because
of new restrictions and stuff like that. But the shows were good. Now, when you did your show in San Clemente, how much material was what's going on right now, and how much was just you trying to do your A stuff that works?
I did I mean, I did maybe 5 minutes about what's going on now. I didn't do a lot, and then I just tried to remember shit. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that I realized there was a lot more, because I did a couple of Zoom shows here and there, which are different and weird, and
it's like a bad batch of heroin for me. It's like not satisfying.
It's not good.
I've done a couple of those too. Yeah,
I did do one last weekend when my buddy Todd was in the kitchen, watched the whole thing, and that made it fun for me. I was like, it was, I mean? I was like, oh, thank God.
That fixes it. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, wow. We have comics. Fred Bevel's here now.
Cool.
Frank Townsend's here from Chicago. He's here as well. So many guys chiming in.
Okay. Do you mute the audience when you do a Zoom show?
Nah, yeah. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. I like to hear the reaction though, but there were a couple people that, I'll be honest with you, I've been lucky enough that the people that were distracting mute themselves.
Oh,
there were a couple of people that are having like a discussion in a car, and then I could actually, at one point they actually went, "Can you hear us?" And I go, "Yeah, I can hear you." And they hit mute and they muted themselves out. So,
well, one of my things is I get booked to do a lot of all ages, a lot of PG comedy. So my first Zoom show was for families, was for all ages groups, and like 2 minutes into it, it's going all right. I'm hearing response, and then I hear somebody drop a plate, and then a dog starts barking, and I'm like, I have to mute this audience. I have to mute them. But then I'm looking at their faces to try to gauge the timing, because I could see some of their face. I could see them responding, and then I could see them slowing down, and I'd start back up. But then looking at their faces was brutal, because you're sitting in front of your computer. Some people were getting up and walking away, you know, in the middle of a bit, and then coming back with a soda. I'm like, oh, okay, at least they're not walking away from the show. They were just getting a drink. But it's difficult, man. And it's, you know, you and I have done 10,000 live stand-up shows and 3 Zoom shows. How are we going to get good at that?
Yeah, right. Well, it's a whole different timing, animal, different place. I had a guy pour a bowl of cereal while I was doing a Zoom show.
That's great.
Which was really, it's right in front of me. And I'm like, what are you going to do? I mean, I don't, you know what I mean? I like to respond to everybody, but dude, I'm just trying to do I didn't realize how much I need the audience's affirmation as a human being. You know what I mean? It's been 3 months of no
love of strangers every night.
Exactly. I've had no strangers give me love, which has been very weird. Yeah.
It's hard. And you know what else I wanted to do? I wanted to hold the microphone, which is I wanted to stand up. I tried to set up a stand-up corner for my Zoom show, and it looked horrible, you know?
Yeah, but you know what I did? I got a backdrop. Yeah. And then I got a mic stand, and then I got the mic. I actually got the good mic. I got the Shure, whatever, and I got it all hooked up. So
you stand up.
Yeah. Well, the first one I did not standing up, and I hated it. And I'm like, I don't like this. So but I've got like a 2-foot area that I can move around. You know what I mean? So I'm like, anyway, so I'm spinning left and right, but I don't feel comfortable in the chair doing my act. Like I can joke around and talk like we're doing now, but if I'm doing the act, I got to stand up with the microphone. It's just weird.
Some bits don't work if you're sitting down. You know, I found myself scooting away from the camera so I could use my hands for things. And look how awful that looks. Look how weird the perspective is right now. I'm doing that during my show. I'm going, I don't know how to do this. You know, but I'm learning.
Yeah, well, the thing is also we're adapting, and you're finding ways to make that platform. You're finding ways to use that platform to make it funny. So eventually we're going to be good at Zoom shows. You know what I mean? Or eventually we're going to have some of that figured out.
Eventually, but I'm wondering if I'm going to have the volume of Zoom shows necessary to get good at it. You know, one of the big myths in stand-up comedy is 25 shows under your belt is not experience in stand-up comedy.
No.
You know, 2,500 shows, that's experience. And I think I would need that many Zoom shows to get good at it. You know, I feel like I'm just sort of doing a table read of my, which is when I don't want to use weird actor terms. Actors sit around and they read the script out loud before they get up and start acting it out. I feel like I'm doing that with my act. You know, here's a table read of my act, folks. Let me know what you think.
Guys enjoy.
Yeah,
everyone enjoy.
Now, there's an old adage I also want to ask you about, because of course we're forgetting our act because we aren't doing it enough.
Right.
Is it true that we only remember the good bits? Is this going to make our act tighter?
I don't know. I can't really answer that. I'm not sure. I don't know, because actually I forgot some pretty good bits. You know? I'll be honest with you.
Right.
You know, I seem to remember.
Did you remember any of the weaker bits?
Yes, I did. That's the problem. Yeah. And then you get it out. And then there's like, if you've been on stage, you ever started a bit and then realized, oh, this isn't the right room, place, whatever for it, or I don't have the right equipment. Like a lot of jokes, there's a handful of jokes I tell that I have got to have a microphone for. I just need it for the sound effect or whatever it is. And I'll start the joke and I'll go, oh, this isn't going to work at all. You know, and then you got to bail on it or try to find a way to make it funny. So then with the Zoom show, I just make fun of the fact I screwed up, which helps. You know what I mean? That's always a self-deprecating thing.
Yeah, you're good at I always love watching you because you are good at being in the moment, you know. And I go on autopilot sometimes.
Yeah.
But yeah, when I'm in the moment, I think it's always right to tell the audience, I just started the wrong bit. You know, I just messed up, folks. I think it's a beautiful thing. And also there's an issue with the Zoom, so at least with my act, where it almost looks as if it could be a recording, as if it could not be live.
Right.
So you have to make some mistakes in there so that this is live, you know.
Right. I've actually had I have a lot of people who watch the show regularly, and one of the things, I make a lot of mistakes, and they go, maybe you should fake mistakes, because it's funny when there's mistakes in there. And I'm like, okay, maybe I'll start doing that. I'll start faking mistakes.
Well, this brings us to another interesting point. I feel like I'm running the interview. I apologize. Just cut me off. Hold your hand up. But brings us to another interesting point. There's a difference between seeing you live and listening to your album.
Yeah, sure.
And there's a difference between seeing you live and seeing a Zoom show. But at least the Zoom show has the excitement of this could go horribly wrong.
Oh,
this guy could mess up. And I think the audience gets excited when you make a little mistake, because then their mind starts running like, oh, he messed that up. Oh, wow, he's been doing all this. Like this could go anyway. This is super exciting, you know?
Well, the first Zoom show he did, I forgot that gorilla bit, the gorilla bit that I do.
Which is a legendary bit that everybody
totally
loves.
zoned that. Right. So people from the Zoom show actually finished the bit for me. There were people there.
That's great.
I go, how does it go? And I let them go and finish the bit. And I'm like, oh, you're right. That's it. Sure. Yeah. Good. So they're walking me through. That's happened a couple of times with some of the bits that people know well and have been around. Here's another thing. You talk about being in the moment. That's why I love live performing so much, because I'm a big believer that when you're on the stage, it's its own thing. You know what I mean? Anything can happen. Whether I have a list or I know what I'm going to do, I give myself a lot of leeway to go into the audience or change or whatever. But like when I started doing this show in particular, this is one of the difficult things I'm struggling with this format that I'm doing now, this quarantine comedy, is I do all this. I do the tech and the sound and the video. Like I got clips of you. I got some stuff to play, and I got monitors everywhere. I do all that. So while we're talking, I'm looking up and I'm loading and I'm moving. So I'm also going back and watching the old interviews, and it's painful because I can see like, I missed a line there because I'm not paying attention to, you know what I mean? So I'm not in the moment. Anytime I do these interviews, I'm really not in the moment.
Yeah, I had a friend say to me, well, you should be comfortable because you've done a lot of stuff on camera. I'm like, yeah, no, because I've never been my own producer. I've never set up my shot before. Right. I've never done my own sound, Right. And you're right, that's more stressful than, I mean, you saw when you brought me on, I had your show in the background in another window on my computer. And then I had you talking to me, but I heard us on a delay.
Screws you up, yeah.
Because I don't know how to do this, you know? And it's a huge distraction.
Well, I'm in trial by error for weeks or months. And one of the arguments I've been having, I mentioned this a couple of times, I was talking to Anna about it today. I go, the most frustrating thing for me about the show is I spend so much time watching tutorials and how to do this and downloading things and uploading programs and all this stuff. And I do more of that than just writing or creating comedy. So like this morning, I had a great idea for a bit. I go, oh, and I was so excited. I sat down. I mean, I was like a kid. I'm like, ha. And I started typing this bit. I go, this would be great for the show. And I got about an hour into it. And I realized I can't, now I got to watch it, download this thing. And because there's video. So I need a clip. And then I got to put that. And how can I play it during the show and go to the clip and come back to you and do the whole, and now I go, well, I can do it, but I got to watch this tutorial. So now I'm into my second tutorial and I look at Anna, I go, son of a bitch. I go, dude, it's the same thing. Every time I want to do something, I end up watching a how-to video on it. You know, and I just want to be a kid, an idiot. You know what I mean? I just want to be a kid. I want to tell jokes. I want to make people laugh.
Now, do your girls help you on the production side at all? Have they taught you stuff? Because, there are 18-year-old kids who have been doing this for 10 years, and they're better at it than we are.
Yeah. Well, some of this stuff they don't, because I'm so involved with a lot of the audio. It's the sound. It's all taping and all through the computer. So, I mean, they're good with social media. They're great. But with this stuff, they're not. And early on, they were all excited to go, hey, we're going to shoot some videos. And they were like, oh, that's a great idea. And then they were out after about a week. I'm like, oh, okay. And I can get them involved, but I got to get them all. They have to have makeup. They're teenagers now, dude. It's a whole thing.
That's difficult. Yeah, hair and makeup is tough. And that's
as opposed to me, where I don't need hair or makeup. Look at me, I look great.
You do look good, but it's weird. We're in their medium now.
We have to be. We have two. You have two choices. You either do this or you just sit at home and wait for stuff to happen again.
Well, the reason why I brought up the a live show is exciting and different is because I've talked to a lot of young people after shows before COVID who come up to me and tell me they're big comedy fans, but they've never seen a live show. All they've seen is like Netflix specials.
Right.
And I go, specials are great, but everybody is going to be more interesting live because of the excitement that it could go wrong.
Yeah.
You know, or the excitement that you're hearing a bit for the first time.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, and the energy of the room and the whole interactive feel and ebb and flow of the whole thing. You know what I mean? Like I get that a lot too. People are like they're big fans of comedy, but again, though, when they see it live, they agree. They're like, "Wow, dude, this is great." I mean, like any live performances, live concerts,
live music is exciting too.
Yeah, but live comedy is so much more because it's so fragile. You know what I mean? It's like you got whether you got to get you need right away if you're doing good or bad with comedy. You know what I mean? You can finish a whole song and go, "What'd you think?" And they go, "All right, well, we'll work on it." You know what I mean? Like, you tell 2 or 3 bad jokes, and inside your body, you're going, "Oh shit, this isn't going well at all."
Oh yeah, we feel that minutes before the audience feels it.
No, exactly. Sometimes even when it's not necessary.
No, a big mistake young comics make is telling the audience, "Oh, you guys don't like me at all, do you?" They're like, "No, we're still figuring it out. Why would you say that?" Yeah. Okay, now that you said that, yeah, we don't like you. I'm like, no, just be patient.
No,
be patient. They'll come around. Yeah, we start panicking immediately.
Yeah, I can feel it. I can feel the heat in the room. I can feel it get hotter. I can feel the room get hotter.
The temperature changed.
It's a total temperature change.
I have been writing so much that it's just undeveloped comedy because, you know, the way that we fix our bits is by doing these live shows over and over and over again.
Yeah, right.
So my decision when I do get a live show or before a Zoom show is how much of this half-baked material am I going to throw out in this show to make it current?
Right, right.
That's what I'm battling with.
I'm also imagining how much of a reinvention of my almost my style. I mean, I don't think the style is going to change too much, but I mean, you look at it from our point of view. We do 5 different shows on Carnival for 30 minutes. Okay. Those are 5 different 30-minute shows. So we got a pretty good idea where those shows are going and what we're doing and what we've been doing for the last few years. But it's been 3 or 4 months of we're living in a completely different world now, you know? So your perspective on everything is completely skewed and changed, as well as everyone else in the audience is completely skewed and changed. So I'm wondering how I'm going to approach that when we open back up.
I don't think we know how many bits have to be changed or have to be
right.
You know, how many bits we've lost.
Yeah, there's going to be some stuff we lose.
You know, and you experience this. Like the last time I went through that is, I had to get rid of about half of my act after 9/11 because it just didn't make sense.
Yeah.
You know, and I think we have jokes that when we go back into them in front of live audiences after this, they aren't going to make sense, or they aren't necessarily going to make sense, or we're going to have to add words to them or change them around. It's going to be an interesting time, you know? And I would like to say that I'm excited about the challenge, but I'm also terrified about how I'm going to respond to it.
Yeah, but that's kind of good in a way. You know what I mean?
At least that fear is motivating for sure.
Sure.
And that fear is also exciting, you know?
Right.
You know, I've been in such a comfortable position for so many years with the shows I'm doing,
right?
You know, and now I'm completely out of that comfort zone. So you're right; it could go either way. You know, it could bring about my best album ever, or it could bring about you know, a career in another field. You know, I don't know. I don't know how I'm going to respond to this.
So suddenly being a plumber sounds like a pretty good job right now.
Yeah. You know, it's important, honest man's work.
There's a comic. You know Bent Marshburn from the Northwest.
Absolutely, yes.
Okay, he used to do. I worked with him a bunch of times. I haven't seen him in years, but he used to do a throwaway when he was with the crowd, when he didn't like the crowd. He used to talk about getting a farm. That was his big thing. Maybe I should be a farmer. So then through the entire set, things wouldn't go well. Onions would be a good crop. And he would just do it all night. I would laugh so hard. It was so funny. But that was it's hilarious.
No, that's great. That's great. And it's I never thought that the various levels of our job would just cease to exist, you know?
Yeah.
Like in my head, I always thought, oh, there's a chance that performing on cruise ships could go away, but that's no big deal because there's always going to be comedy clubs,
Yeah.
and there's a chance, a bunch of comedy clubs shut down, but there's always going to be, bars and nightclubs that have live entertainment. And then when that goes away, I go, there's always going to be street performing. You mentioned when I started, I was a busker. Maybe I go back to that. And right now, none of that exists. And it's I couldn't have predicted it, And in a weird way, in like a smart bomb sort of way, it just kind of eliminates live entertainment. And a lot of other things still sort of exist. It's really restaurants, bars, and live entertainers that are really hurting from all this.
Right. Well, I think we'll get back to what we said earlier, because I just think it's going to be. I'm a big believer in any change is good change, because you're forced to change, or you're forced to. I mean, it tests your adversity. I mean, it tests that. So.
Makes us stronger.
It does make us stronger. I think you're one of the guys. You're going to come out of this fine when the dust settles, and you're going to have a new act, and you'll be. The cool thing is, like, I equate it to this. Right before I started doing ships, I've only been doing ships maybe 6-7 years, which is a little bit less, much less than you, I think. And before I was married and I was acting in LA, and I had to go back and I got divorced, and my whole life changed. Like within a week, I was getting divorced, and I had at the time my act was about being the happily married guy with the family. So I would go out and do my show, and I would feel after the show was miserable. And I was like, and my buddy, a couple of guys had said to me, I was having cars with Jimmy Pardo. So I go, I can't do my act anymore. I just can't. Yeah. He's like, why? I go, because it's not true. None of it's true. It's a lie. It's a total lie. And he's like, the crowd doesn't know that. And I go, yeah, I know, but I do. And it was affecting me on stage. So I pushed myself to write and recreate. But in doing that, I became a lot more energized and excited about stand-up again, to where I even started hitting open mics and every stage I could find to put bits together. And then when I hit the ships, and then suddenly I started doing Carnival, 5-10 shows a week or whatever, 12 shows a week, then that was just a plethora of shows for me to work out material. So I was able to completely revamp my whole act. I think a lot of us moving forward, we're either going to do that or people are going to fall out of the business.
Yeah, you're making me feel a little better because you're thinking positive. And I remember when I first worked with you on Carnival, you were killing. It was great, but you were also still in the process of feeling out that Carnival schedule. And then I worked with you like 2 years later, and it was just ridiculous how comfortable you were with that schedule. So I know how much work you put in when you came out. I hope I have that energy in me when we go back out.
I think you will. Well, I think we have an advantage because Carnival's they'll launch again, but I think we have an advantage because we have so many shows on that schedule that you're going to have tons of time to work on that stuff.
Yeah. I would love a month with 40 performances. I feel like that would help me get back up to speed.
Right.
Really fast.
All right, let's say hello to some people. Robert Carlton's here. Robert Carlton, correct, from the main office.
Yes, of course. Yeah.
So he's here. So he says to give him a little round.
Okay, everybody gets applause.
Rachel Zimmerman's here. Thanks for coming, Rachel. I have a lot of people that tune in all the time. I have a lot of cruisers that are here that couldn't wait for you to be here.
That's cool.
Runyons.
Alex
Aguilar.
Yeah,
I did get a haircut before the shutdown. Thank you very much, Alex. That's thanks. Now I'm ready to be shut down again. Okay, everybody likes my haircut. That's good enough. That's all. You don't need to know all that. But since there's a pause, I have a clip I want to play of you right now. I'm going to play it right now if you're cool with it.
Oh boy. Yeah, I'm cool. I'm cool with whatever you want to play.
Let's see if this works.
Let's get your producer to cue that up.
Yeah, let's get hey Alex, can you get on this one real quick? Thanks, Alex. Okay, you ready? In 3, 2, here's a little PSA from my good friend Tommy Drake. Let's hear a PSA from my good friend Tommy Drake. Here we go. Okay, here we go.
Okay.
Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. Not yet.
Oh, nice. Okay, that works.
Okay, not yet. Okay, hold on. Okay, here we go. Here's a little. Perfect. All right, Now this is a little PSA from my good friend Tommy Drake. Let's give it a shot. Here we go.
Good afternoon. This is Tommy Drake with World News Houston, reporting from home. The most common way that we Houstonians spread germs to one another is through handrails and door handles. The second most common way is through touchscreens. The third, bullets. But when inflicting deadly force on an intruder, we don't also want to be spreading to them the deadly COVID-19 virus through our dirty bullets. We've all handled our ammo with dirty fingers. I myself have the horrible habit of constantly touching my face with the end of my weapon. I found a simple way that you can sanitize your bullets. You mix 1 cup of water with 1 teaspoon each of dish soap, table salt, and vinegar. You place your bullets on a cotton washcloth, fold that cloth over, gently moisten
Tom,
the
can you hear
outside
me
of the
when I say this?
washcloth with the
I
solution,
can't hear you.
rubbing the bullets
Okay.
between
I
the
don't know if
cloth
this-
and between
I don't know
your
if people can hear me
fingers.
talk over the
Let the
video.
bullets air
Did you
dry
research
before
this?
reloading
Did
your
you
weapon. Don't have to load it.
Absolutely, I researched it.
Just wanna make
Also,
sure.
don't
Just the
submerge the
cleaning
bullets
part. I'm very
because you don't
impressed.
want to get your powder wet. I contacted old friend of World News Houston and weapons expert Bart Stewart. He told me I was wasting my time with all of this because when a projectile is fired, it reaches such a high temperature that it is literally self-sanitizing. But like most conscientious news reporters during this time, I'm going to choose to disagree with the expert and go with my own personal opinion on this. Because I have this friend, he was a cop, he got grazed by a bullet. That bullet gave him herpes. It's called a BSTD, or ballistic sexually transmitted disease. It's a real thing. I didn't make it up, Becky. My studies have shown that 97% of the STDs in Harris County were contracted through dirty bullets. I myself have been shot in the foot 3 different times during my marriage: gonorrhea, chlamydia, and HPV. And if you don't believe that you can catch a virus from a bullet, what you believe is that a normally sane human being, well respected in his community, who loves his wife very much, would rather shoot himself in his own foot than admit to her that he contracted an STD through an extramarital affair. Then you believe that that same guy would shoot himself in that same foot 2 other times, eventually losing a toe. That's crazy. You believe something crazy, not me, you. This is Tommy Drake with World News Houston, reporting from home. Stay safe out there.
Yeah, there we go. It's a little clip for you for the news.
Okay, this is interesting. I did not expect you to play that when you said you were going to play a clip.
Oh, you did?
But
Really? You
I'm
thought it was-
glad that you played it because I could talk about that for an hour. If you
Oh,
want.
good. Right on. Perfect. Even better. I liked it, dude. I looked at a ton of your stuff today. I was like, that
It
was
must
funny.
have been hard for you.
Dude, I like the stuff because I've known you, I've seen you a bunch of times. So anything I saw I didn't see before, I was like, I would watch that immediately. So
Right, something new. Well, that's what we were talking about before when when people that have heard your albums come see you live and you change a bit. They always mention, they're like, oh, you did that, you added something to that thing.
Yeah.
And you're like, yeah, I did.
they like when you screw up too. That's a big fan. They're a big fan of that. Well, I go, yeah, you screwed up the thing with the thing. You didn't do the thing with you forgot the butter part. Oh, that was it. Yeah, my bad.
That video I put out, I don't put a lot of stuff out online that isn't clips of me performing live,
Right.
So I don't do a lot of scripted stuff like that. But it came about right when the shutdown happened. All these news reporters were reporting from home locally.
Right. Yeah.
And I thought, well, now it doesn't matter if you have a job on the news. I could just pretend I'm on the news and do
Yeah,
a
it
report
makes-
from home.
Right.
So I had John Wessling, I'm going to mention him again, and Billy D. Washington. I talked to both of them about ideas of a news reporter reporting from home, something that local to Houston. And I actually did research how to clean bullets.
Did you?
Yeah, weird stuff, and I had the I
That's
had
good.
the gag.
That's in your browser history, by the way. Now,
Yeah,
you
I
expect
know.
to knock at your door like, do.
I'm sure I'll get that knock. But then I want to, I had this idea that of a news reporter character that everything that he did was just from his personal life. It starts out like a news story and ends up just an argument with his wife every time.
Dude, that's great.
Yeah, so I've been playing with it.
You're gonna do that? That's hilarious.
If I have to do something online, And the other reason why that came about is because a lot of comedians are doing exactly what we're doing right now.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And some of them are very good at it, and some of them aren't very good at it.
Yeah. Well, it's like the show itself, really, if you think about
it. I mean, you have a plan. You're good at it. You've done some research. You're preparing. And some of them are just like, I'll do it. It's like going on stage. I'll just go live. And my thing, my act is very rehearsed. So if I'm going to put something out online, I want it to be scripted and rehearsed, and I'm not good at video editing. And that clip was all recorded before I bought the nice microphone. So it's got horrible sound on it, so it's all a learning process,
Yeah. Well, you're still smart with the static shot, the one shot. Like and you do one shot and that's it. Because the more shots you have, the more setups you have, the more editing you're involved. And I've finally gotten to the point where, like, I'm accepted the fact that I can do one shot and have cuts in between and be okay with that. Because I used to be mad 6 lines in and go, shit, let's start over. Now I'm like, just do the whole thing, and you cut them out as you go along. Otherwise, right. I'll be here. I'm not an editor, man. I'll be here all day. You know what I mean? As it is now, that I'll come up with an idea that's a 2 or 3 minute bit, and it takes me, 7 hours to put it together. I'm like, this is ridiculous. I'd rather have a guy who can, hey, Freddie, do me a favor. Here's what I want. And he does it for me. I'm like, oh, no, it's done in like 8 minutes. Perfect. Thank you.
I learned during that little video that I can't edit myself. I need somebody else's opinion. I was trying to edit that video. I sent it to my buddy, Rob Mungle, who's a wonderful comedian. Mm-hmm. And he goes, it's too long. You got to cut this part out, And I just didn't. I didn't argue with it. I trust him,
Sure.
I just did it. And then I watched it, and he was completely right. And it was stuff I didn't see,
Yeah. Extra eye always helps, man.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Big time.
Yeah.
I mean, how many?
So go ahead.
How many times somebody come up to you? Somebody will come up and mention. Russ Nagel came up to me once and gave me a tag. I'm trying to remember what it was. Oh, it was a callback. He gave me a callback. Yeah. And you know what it was? It was, we got the 5 shows. So I did a bit from like the 3rd show in the 4th show that I normally don't do. So at the end of the show, I didn't even think about it. And after the show, he comes up and goes, the tag is, are you guys on the roof again? And I go, I'm like, that's perfect. Why didn't I know that? You know what I mean? But you get in your head so much, you don't get that.
Yeah, there's a lot of obvious stuff that when somebody else is watching, they see it, And it's happened to myself where I mentioned earlier, I'm not always in the moment when I'm doing my stand-up. And there have been times where something happens, I'm not feeling well, or I knock the stool over or something. All of a sudden I'm in the moment and I listen to myself doing a bit I've done 1,000 times.
Yeah.
And I realize, I've been doing this completely wrong for about 5 years now. And let me fix this right now on stage. And all of a sudden your act is that much better,
Yeah. Sometimes it just takes one line or one twitch or one change or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And you work with people like Russ Nagel, who's a great guy, and he happens to show up early for his show. He's watching yours. You get off stage. They always have gems for you. People like Russ that are just been doing comedy forever, great joke writers. They see stuff that we would see if we were off stage watching ourselves.
Sure.
But when we're on stage, we can't see it.
Plus you get into a pattern routine, man. If you're doing 10, 12 shows a week, at some point, it kind of, you just fall into kind of a pattern, man. That's one of the things that I really appreciate about working on the ships. And I love about working on the ships. You don't get that at clubs. That when you work at a ship, normally the comic you're working with is a guy that's been around for 25, 30 years as well, has a really good eye for comedy. And usually I could sit around and talk comedy. The Geechee guy and I one night sat around for 14 hours to talk comedy. I mean, I'm not kidding.
I love Geechee. I love Geechee so much.
We talked all night long until like 9 a.m. I didn't even know it went by so fast. We weren't drinking or nothing. Just sitting in the patio, just talking. Comedy.
Yeah, I've talked comedy with Geechee too. It's very knowledgeable, but
great eye, great insight. I love that stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah, fascinating to talk to. Yeah, I miss that. I miss that too. I miss being watching other comics work live, watching somebody like Geechee work live, because you always learn so much.
God, I love that guy Geechee. I tried to have him on the show, but he has really bad technology, Wi-Fi is what he told me. That's what he's told me.
Yeah, maybe he just doesn't want to do your show. Maybe
that's probably it.
Actually, I believe that about Geechee guy.
I completely believe that.
And I'm one of those guys too. This is still my phone. You know that. This is still I have a flip phone. You know, I have the laptop. I have the nice.
You still
microphone.
have the flip phone? You still have the
I
flip
still have
phone?
the flip phone. This is still my phone.
I wish I could do that. I wish I just had a flip phone. That's it.
Yeah.
It's the best feeling in the world. You know, no, that's it. Just a flip phone, no technology.
It's freedom.
It's like going camping. I used to go camping with the kids. I used to love it because there was no coverage. Yeah. And honestly, they love it too. They're great about it. Let's just get away and not have phones. I'm like, okay. Yeah. And we'll spend like a day or two with they get it too. They're overkilled with this technology and social media. You know what I mean? They're like, if we can not be connected.
Yeah, I've noticed the intro, and I'm going to get positive now too. The few shows I have done in Houston when things were open for a minute have been showcase style shows, which means I get to be on the show with a bunch of younger comics that are also local, and some of them are fabulous. But I love watching them. But I've noticed a major difference that a lot of their bits are inspired by things that they've come across on social media.
Right.
And a lot of my bits are more inspired by things that I've seen live.
Experienced.
Yeah, experience. That's what I was trying to say. Yeah, so it's an interesting difference, and one isn't better or worse. I mean, it's just a completely different style because a lot of their communication is done over that phone. You know, a lot of my communication is done.
Well, one
live.
of the things, like especially the last two albums in particular, for me, you got to learn to write about that stuff if you want to stay relevant to the younger crowd now. So that's why I have so much stuff about Facebook, and I mean, it's like it. But a lot of it is, I honestly, what helps me is the kids, man. They're like, I can go to my daughters, and I'll talk to them about it. No, I mean, they'll make fun of me 90% of the time, but I don't care. If I'm getting
that's great. That's kind of what you want them to do. I think when you're developing a bit, right?
Yeah, and if they're making, I'm like, fine. And then what should I do? I mean, there's a lot of stuff I run by them more than people think because they're in touch with TikTok, Facebook, all this crap that's going on right now.
You and I both make fun of ourselves on stage.
Helpful, yeah.
So when your kids make fun of you, you're like, that's perfect. That's what I'm looking for.
Yeah, they fit right into that. They have no problem making fun of it.
Now, are your kids going to be upset if TikTok goes away?
Yeah, we've been talking about that recently.
Because they're in that demographic. Would that be devastating to them?
I think it will. They're on TikTok constantly. So I just got a rundown on TikTok earlier today for my daughter. There's 3 different kinds of TikTok, which I don't even know if I can explain right now, but
I have no idea.
There's a dark TikTok, which is kind of like the dark web. And then there's this thing, because I asked him, because I guess a new popular thing I was reading again. I read all these articles about social media and what people are doing today to try to be aware of it, because you got to know what the hell's going on, right? So, and then I'll go and do it just so I know what it is. But anyway, I have a dating site on Teen Date, so I don't know if I should bring that up now or. But anyway, I'm on there. But the new hip thing for kids to do on TikTok is to brag about how much money they make or their parents make. So there's a whole rich. There's a rich boy vibe out there, is what I'm hearing.
Huh.
And I brought it up to Anna, and she was like, she's aware of it, but she's disgusted by it. So she's not in that group of TikTok. That's how I get the big breakdown of TikTok. And I was like, I didn't expect all this information, but thank you very much.
That's interesting. That was sort of that was rap music in the late 80s and early 90s, right? Was bragging about how much money you made.
Yeah.
That was also very popular among young people.
Yeah.
So it's interesting that TikTok would go that. I wonder if TikTok is going to take other rap trends now. I wonder if TikTok will match. Yeah. Besides the money, I mean, after the bragging about how much money you made and what kind of change you had, right after that was the the NWA anti-police rap. Is that going to be the next TikTok thing?
That's an obvious fit right now, actually.
Right, exactly. That comes up.
Yeah.
And then
it's now, dude, some of the music I listen to now, it's beyond bitches and hoes. It's
oh yeah?
Yeah, it's dude, there's some lyrics, I'm a big Kiss fan. I love Kiss. I've seen them a bunch of times. And every song that Kiss has is really about having sex, really in some way. Every single song.
Yeah.
But it's all innuendo. It's all like, come into the room and stay in the room and leave and come back and leave and come back and leave and come back and drop off a load and take out the door. You know what I mean? It's always like an innuendo. There's no innuendo in today's music, man. There is just blatant stick it in my blah, blah, blah. So Lily plays something. We're driving down the road. I'm like, what is this? Oh, I'm sorry, Dad. I didn't realize. I forgot you were here. I mean, we never forgot I was here. Driving the car.
Wow.
But yeah, I mean, it is like, and I mean, I never wanted to be the you kids guy, but holy crap, man, it is really over the top, disgusting, little. I'm looking forward to, I won't see it, but several years from now when those people are grandparents. We used to joke about when rap kids were grandparents, what kind of music they'd be singing,
Yeah.
What kind of music they'd be playing in retirement homes in about 85 years.
Yeah, and I think it's only going to go. It can only go further, but I don't know how much further it can go, right? I mean, it's not going to. Has the music ever recessed? Has it ever gone backwards?
It's never now. But there's a big lack of good music right now, I think, too, which is it's a thing. Plus,
you know what? I wish I could tell you I'm listening to modern music, but I'm not. My wife is always on the Carole King, Pandora. Lots of James Taylor. That's kind of what we're listening to. So I honestly don't know if there's new music out there that I like. There might be.
Dude, I listen to 90% of the time it's hair metal.
Okay.
So it's all Poison and Rat and stuff like that. And then the rest of the day, it's Anna got me into this. I usually listen to the Spa Channel or like new age music. Recently I've been listening to the megahertz thing. Have you heard of this? Listening to the sound of the earth or the whatever, like 936. What did I just Googled it the other day. Where is it? Oh,
I have no idea what this is.
420.83 is a thing you type into YouTube, and it's a HZ frequency that brings your mind at one with the planet, and it helps. Like I follow things like crystals and stuff like that, but this is like it puts your mind. The one I mentioned 420.83 is for creative, so it opens your third eye. It's all this third eye stuff.
Oh, okay.
And Anna's interesting. Really into it, I was encouraged to hear Anna was into it. I'll be honest with you, I think that's kind of cool. So
that's a good thing. Yeah,
I mean, it's a great thing. So I go.
I was just watching a show, and they actually played something I had never heard, and it was the radiation noise that the Voyager probe got when it got too close to Jupiter.
Yeah.
And it sounds like weird new age music.
Yeah.
But it was an odd sort of outer space sound. Now you're saying that this 420 thing is Earth noises? It's an Earth frequency? What is it?
It's like an Earth frequency, but it's basically sounds like new age music. But I got to be honest with you, and this might sound corny, and we put one on right away, dude, and I felt all at one with the universe. I was totally like, I just felt calm. I was like, oh, yeah. Yeah.
Well, maybe that's the future of music.
I'd listen to that a lot more than stick your blank in my blank and hit my blank and shoot your blank. And there's a lot of blanking. I don't have much time for any blanking. All right.
Time for blanking.
No, I don't have time for that. All right, let's see. I got a few people are making comments. I got to get back and say hello.
Okay.
Lori Salaka, who I went to high school with, her niece, they watched Joe Dirt, and they saw me on TV. And
nice.
That's nice. Oh, and they thought I was handsome. Thank you very much. That's not even. I
see you.
I just made that one up.
I see you on TV all the time, Lenny.
That's awesome.
I do.
I have more 75-cent checks coming. I appreciate it.
I hope they come in.
I can't wait.
Those residuals. That's all the money we're making now is those residual checks.
I got news for you. If it wasn't for, hey, how's your dry bar comedy doing? What's the name of that special? I couldn't find it. I looked all over.
You couldn't find it?
Well, they recently.
That's upsetting.
I know. That's what I'm going to say. I went to Dry Bar and searched your name, and I couldn't find the specific special. I found 4 bits, but I couldn't find the full. Because Jeff Jenna was on a few days ago, and we talked about his, and I was able to boot his up pretty quick. I know recently Dry Bar took some stuff down and repackaged it and sent it back out and renamed it, which I question. I don't know how great that is because I guess it doesn't matter. But now you don't want people, especially in the middle of this shutdown, you don't want people getting content thinking it's new content and then it's the same old content.
Yeah. But Yeah, you're making me uncomfortable now. Now I have to go to Dry Bar and find my special. It was season 4. The special's called Mouse, and it's Dry Bar season 4.
I'm gonna
And
Google it on
it's
Facebook right now.
yeah, it's doing all right. You know, people are watching it. I'll tell you what the Dry Bar special has been good for me is every time anybody's asked for a clip to book a gig, I send that out and they really like it.
Oh,
you know,
good, right on.
so that's a good thing. That's a
Well,
really good thing.
the production value is phenomenal. So I mean,
Yeah, they do a great job at the production value and the sound. Sound is so important to comedy, and the sound editing on my special is excellent. I
they
think.
really. I watched the clips that I was able to boot up. They nailed the crowd sound is fantastic.
Yeah, and
Really
that's the hardest part, right? Is
Yeah.
the audience noise versus the comedian noise. Those levels are difficult, and I thought they did that. They did that pretty well. The production value is great. It's still just my act, but hopefully it's still out there on Dry Bar. Hopefully, Mouse is still easy for people to get and take
That's
a look
the
at.
problem I have with my recordings is the audience sound because it's my act. So
Yeah, that's
you know what I mean.
that's difficult. That's difficult.
I
You know what? I've ruined so many comedians' recordings because I'm in the back laughing too loud.
love your laugh is the best, dude. It's very distinctive. You can hear it from anywhere in the room. It's just weird.
There you go. That sounds like me. Yeah, but I love
like
I love stand up and certain bits.
Eddie Murphy meets Ed Norton is what your laugh is like.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
I like that. I like that. Thanks for.
I hope you do. But yeah, I can hear it from anywhere in the room is the best.
Yeah, I just I'm such a fan of stand up and certain bits. Comics like more than others, and they always get me. And I've had comics get off stage go, thanks, but no thanks. I'm trying to make a tape here, and it's just going to be you.
Hey, can you not be here?
Yeah.
Well, he's like, you're. There's a lot of guys. Just a handful of guys I'll go and watch every time they're on, like every show, just because.
Oh yeah. Me too.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
you're one of those.
I like hanging out in your room too when we're working together. That's always really fun.
Geechee's one of those guys. There's a lot of guys like that. Manny's one of those guys, and there's guys I'll catch every show.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Just because it's a lot of fun.
Now, when you're watching, like with our schedule, we would do back to back. Each, you'd be on, and then I'd be on 20 minutes later. Right. Are you thinking about your show at all when it's coming up? When you're watching another comic?
Oh, usually not. I start thinking about my show when you're done.
Okay.
Well, it depends. If I have like every show, I try to do something new right around the 18-minute mark. Like it's kind of where I shoot because I try to open. I try to open hard and close hard. So I'll do something around 18, but then close with a hard 7.
That's fun. That's funny you say the 18-minute mark because mine's the 20-minute mark. That's where I want to put in a new thing. Yeah. So
that's real sneaky.
We're just a couple minutes off.
That's the same. But then you can get into your hard closer and get out, and you're out the door. You know what I mean? So.
Oh yeah, I've told some comedians will do certain things that are more important to them too early in the show, and I say, hey, wait till they trust you.
Yeah.
And then do that part, when they're really listening, when they're really hanging on your every word, because I think you're getting it out there too soon,
Yeah, I've opened a couple times with newer things because I'm so excited about it. I'm like, oh, I gotta do this right away. But
and you don't want to mess up your flow.
Yeah. Yeah, but there've been a couple times where I've done it and they didn't do well. Like, or a couple, I can't remember the line in particular. I wish I could remember this line. But it was it was like the inspiration. The room was just packed, and it was 11:30. And I go, I also preach to everyone. I think in life and especially in comedy, expectation will kill you. Like if you go through life with expectations, you're really setting yourself up for a bad place. So when I go on stage, I never think, oh, I'm going to kill. I just go on stage and go and just be in the moment. That's the whole thing. So, but this moment, I'm like, oh, this joke is perfect. This is going to kill. And I tell it nothing. And I was so rattled. I was like, and I stuttered my way into my opening, and then it was so mad. So that was the last time I did something new up front. It was very frustrating.
That is a hard hole to climb out of when your first joke doesn't go well.
Yeah, when you're opening up, I know that's
we have a ship that we both work called the Carnival Conquest, and all of the lounges are named after Dutch master, impressionist painters.
Okay.
And the lounge, the back lounge that we do a lot of the comedy shows in is called the Degas Lounge.
The Degas.
And the first time I worked that ship, I said, this is, I opened my set by going, this is the comedy club, but I don't know if you saw walking in, it's called the Degas Lounge. They shouldn't have comedians, they should have impressionists. Nothing. Took me 10 minutes to drag myself out of that hole, go right back into my act, do it out of the gate, and they just don't trust me at all. They're like, why would, for some reason, I thought it would kill. I was way wrong.
Yeah.
I was way wrong.
We've been way wrong on things. That's the worst feeling in the world, but it happens. You know what I mean?
You know, people are on a cruise to Mexico to get drunk, and I'm doing an art history joke. Like, I don't think
people in the background going,
yeah,
it's quite interesting.
Yeah.
Well played, Thomas. Well played.
I think I was working with Michael Macy when I did that, and he saw it. And I got off stage. He goes, the problem with that joke is the people that get that joke aren't your big laughers. And I'm like, that's a good line. That's true. That's true. Yeah. The people that get that joke probably responded by saying, that's clever. It doesn't help your show at all.
They're just thinking of themselves.
No, it doesn't help your show at all.
Okay, Kim Harrison's here. We're gonna say hello to Kim Harrison.
Kimmy, love Kimmy.
One and only Kim Harrison, who will be on the show in a couple of weeks. Kim Harrison's here. And that's it. Everybody else is great. This is good. Robert Carlton is still here. Back of the room. Tommy's laugh is iconic. There we go.
Oh, hey, I'm iconic.
You are iconic.
I thought I was annoying. I thought I was disrupting the show.
Oh no, my friend. All right, man. All right.
I popped into the Melrose Improv years ago, and it was one of those things. I know you've had these things where you get auditions in Los Angeles are always last minute. They need you tomorrow morning,
Right.
And it was something important enough where it was like, they need you sometime tomorrow. And I was in Houston. I'm like, I can get a cheap flight. I can get to Los Angeles and be at an audition tomorrow. This is worth it. I'll go.
Right.
I get to town. I go straight to the, after putting my stuff in a hotel, I go to the Melrose Improv just to run into some comics, see who's hanging out. Nobody knows I'm in town. I pop into the showroom and Scott Kennedy's on stage and he does a bit I'd never heard him do. And I laugh and he stops in the middle of his set. He's like, Tommy, what are you doing here, man? Why didn't you call me?
Yeah.
And it was really funny. Scott was a super clever comic, but he just completely disregarded the audience and had a conversation with me in the back.
Hey, what's up? Yeah.
And I'm like, that's super. That's really, where are you staying? What are you doing after this? You want to? So he cashed in like 5 minutes of his set to joke about the fact that he recognized my laugh.
He owned that room too, so he could do whatever the hell he wants.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
He was at Scott was in charge of the Melrose.
Yeah, he could have shut that room down and said, all right, we're out of here.
Yeah, but that was a good moment. But that's also when I realized, okay, maybe I need to, if comedians are on stage and they're really working, maybe I need to tone my laugh down a little bit and not distract them.
No, it's distinctive. If you hear the laugh, I would know it.
Well, it's okay with that. I mean, you and I are both pretty comfortable on stage when the other one's in the room, but sometimes there's some comedians that are in more of a high pressure situation, and you're rooting for them in the room. You want them to do well. You don't want anything to go wrong. I'm sure you've had it. Have you ever been in the back of the room watching a comedy show and you want to go to a table and tell people to stop talking to each other or put their
yes, all the time.
Yeah.
All the time.
And that's when we have this sense of duty about the show while we're in the room. And some, like if it's Manny Oliveira on stage, I'm not worried about it. Manny's going to handle it himself.
He'll be at the table in a minute. Yeah, right. Exactly.
But there's certain other comics that I'm more concerned about them. Well, I will tone down the laugh.
Well,
I trust you.
I've done the quick, I've done the shh, I've done that a bunch of times from the back of the room. And it's not like, honestly, it kind of pisses me off. I don't like when people are talking in the comedy room. Like when people come up and talk to me, like at the bar, I'll leave. I'll go, let's go outside and talk or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's the right thing to do.
Yeah. because you shouldn't talk during any comedy shows. When people are talking, it drives me crazy. I hate it when I'm on stage. When everybody else on stage, I hate it even more. And when you're in the back, you can see it more.
Yeah.
And there've been a few times where I have to leave.
And sometimes I think people understand. We're talking about people talking to each other, not actually addressing the comic. We're talking
like a
about
conversation,
people
like
who think that people at the next table aren't distracted by them, right?
Yeah,
And
people always get this image. My agent's here. Let's give it up for Steve Smith, my agent.
All right, let's hear it for Steve. Glad Steve's here.
Once again, 10% of nothing.
It's hard. It's hard. Nobody, it's hard on agents too when we're not out hustling.
I know he's here though. He's watching me. He knows what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, he sends me a message. He's like, "Oh yeah, okay." Okay.
Now, do you think? I have this theory that some people were just never taught how to be an audience when they were growing up. I mean, have you performed in Canada?
Yeah.
When you perform in Canada, they're I guess when Canadians generally, when they're kids, there's something that happens where they teach them how to be an audience, where they're super polite, they laugh and they clap at the right time, and then after the show, while they're walking out, that guy wasn't very good. Maybe they didn't like the show, but they're super polite audiences, because I think they were sort of taught that when they were young. And I think some Americans aren't taught how to be a live show audience. Like nobody ever told them, hey, if you're in the show, you don't want to talk to each other at all. And if you're not in the show, if you want to talk, maybe sneak out quietly. Phone etiquette, is not necessarily being taught. I mean, did you tell your girls, when you gave your girls when they got their first phones, did you tell them, hey, listen, if you're at a show, you can't have that phone out?
Yeah, I gotta be honest with you. Maybe it's because they had them. I used to teach to kids. I used to teach comedy and improv, and show. And so they kind of picked up on that early on. So I've never really had to have that discussion with them. They're real big on put down the phone.
That's great.
Like during dinner, like put down the phone. We're having dinner. Okay, and they would never disrespect a performer. Probably because, and their mom, Vesna was a performer for years too. She left it eventually, but they knew a lot of performers, so they kind of always were in touch with what to do at a live show, what not to do. And Anna gets angry. Anna will see somebody with a phone during my show.
Oh yeah.
And I'll get off and she'll go, Dad, I wanted to go tell that person so bad. I go, well, I'm glad you did. Don't get involved. Just let it go. Just leave it go.
We take it as disrespectful, but I think what I'm trying to say is, I don't think they know they're being disrespectful. I don't think anybody ever told them. I think that some audiences, in particular American audiences, they just don't know that what they're doing is insulting or disrespectful for the comic, as opposed to being intentionally disrespectful. I think that's a different. That's a different.
I don't think they're doing it on purpose to cause problems. But here's another thought I had. I think that might be the normal moving forward. I think because so many clubs are big on, and who knows what's going to happen after COVID. I mean, everything's changing with that. But I noticed I was in can't remember, Oklahoma City, not Oklahoma City, but one of the Jeff Jones gigs in the Midwest, the Looney Bins. One of the Looney Bins I was playing, and it was just a bunch of kids on their phones. But and you can't. They tell them before the show, put your phone down, but then they tell them to check in and like the club and like this and like that and hashtag.
Right.
And so, I mean, the clubs, I think, are trying to figure out how to handle that the right way. But I think moving forward, we're almost going to have to accept the fact people are going to be on their phones during a live performance. I don't know if we're going to get away from that. The phone is such a big part of what we do that I don't know if we can turn back on that.
I don't know if we have, if they have them anymore, or even if they're legal, but there were some big venues that I played years ago that had, they called them scramblers.
Yeah, Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
So that your phone just wouldn't work right.
There was no connection. It was shut down.
And then I know there's some modern performers that are just, that are super strict about it, that will, tell people just not to bring their phones into the show.
Well, the bigger names too can ask people to turn their phones in at the door.
Yeah,
it happens a lot with some comics do that.
Yeah,
some comics don't care, but a lot of comics, if you're big enough, like I can't say that. I can't go into Oklahoma City. I go, I think we should drop off the phone at the door.
Yeah, they're not. They
would be like, "Fuck you." That's not happening. I'm like, oh, okay.
When I go to drop off this phone, they'd be like, "Hey, bro, you can keep that. That's cool."
Can you not put that in this bucket with these other phones, please?
Well, now the kids are going to have an old burner phone to drop off at the door so they can keep their good phone. They're going to double cross us.
I got a bucket of burners here.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Well, I don't know how to feel about it. I've had shows where people like, I get positive comments online, oh, I saw your show. You were great. And the comment was sent to me during the show.
Yeah.
It's timestamped. I'm like, I wasn't great enough to distract you. You're missing a punchline to send me that message.
But that's another one of the things I like about the ships is we don't have to deal with that issue on a ship for the most part. Like a little bit, like they have that app on the ship, and then you can take pictures and you can still operate your phone. There's just no connection.
Yeah, there's other things that we don't have to deal with on the ship too. We don't have to deal with marketing our own show. Like I didn't know that was. That's something I learned during this quarantine. I get on these showcase shows with these local comics, and I get messages the couple days before going, "Hey man, you have to share this on your social media." I'm going, what? Yeah. This flyer, you have to post it on your, and I go, I'm sorry. I've just been out of the local game for a while. I forget that you don't have a built-in audience that's stuck at sea that has nothing else to do.
No, I miss that, dude. This is so much work, man. When I do play those other gigs, I spend all day on social media, plugging the show, sharing Instagram, an upload, a video. I mean, it's literally all day long of clips and stuff. And I don't know how it's hard. I don't know how you do it. I remember I found I had I was reorganizing some stuff, and I found an old card I used to put on tables that people fill out for the mailing list.
Table tents, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I found it. I'm going, oh my God, this is totally irrelevant now. Like doesn't even make any sense.
Yeah, promoter used to be a job separate from entertainer,
Right.
There was people that would bring us into town, and they would make the flyers, and they would call the radio station, and they would go out and they would actually put physical flyers on, to the dry cleaner, and then inside the, under the windshield wipers on cars to try to get people to come out to a show. Yeah. And now it's sort of our job, which is interesting. And it's like you were talking about with what you're doing here with your quarantine comedy, how much, just being funny is a full-time job when you do it right.
Yeah.
So how much energy do you put towards the production, and how much energy do you put towards the material?
Yeah, I'm amazed I have friends who are good at both, and they blow me away. This whole social media thing is, these kids they're all so good at sharing and clicking. And I have the kids literally, the girls show me how to use Snapshot every week because I use it for one thing every week. And every week those girls get pissed, like, oh, pay attention. All right, I'm trying. You know what I mean? But so that's something you need to figure out. But I have a handful of friends who can do both the social media advertising and the creative. There's a guy named Stephen Briggs that's out here in LA. I just did a short film for him earlier this year. He's amazing at it. He's the best. And he puts out 3 or 4 videos a week. I don't know how he does it. I don't know. I don't get it. It's an amazing.
So he's good at both. Yeah.
Yeah. And the amount of energy and be able to get it all. And I mean, I do this now, and I was doing this 5 nights a week, and then I cut it down to 3. Last week I did 4. And I get to the weekend, I'm like, yesterday I didn't turn on my computer. I'm like, I didn't want to look at the screens. I don't want to do anything.
Yeah. Yeah. I think you need to get away from it. I think.
Because every time you sit in front of the computer, I could think of easily 6 or 7 things I need to do. Yeah. I'm like, oh shit, I got to go to Instagram. Oh, I got to share this. Oh, I got to save this picture. Oh, I got to upload the podcast. Oh, now I got to do the thing. Oh, I got to go. I mean, it just never stops.
I don't know if I'm ever gonna be good at it. I had a guy, a guy from a club saying, I want to bring you in, but you don't have a lot of followers online. I go, yeah, but I have a lot of punchlines. Doesn't that count anymore? And he's like, see what I can do. But yeah.
I get the response all the time. I always get they always go to your Facebook. How many followers you have? I go,
right.
I'll be honest with you. I wanted to be dead before this was an issue. You know what I mean?
Yeah, me too.
Go through this business and be funny. I mean, I had I didn't want a big change before the end here. I wanted to skate through, not skate, but when we started around the same time. And back then it was the whole, get to LA, get a development deal, get your own show, get a writing. I mean, it's kind of the same format. And even the style of stand-up has kind of changed. It's been relatively the same as far as the performing goes. And so the business trajectory has gone one way and then just went sideways with all the social media, TikTok and Instagram and Vine and all this stuff that people are doing. I go to shows now and they'll go, this is the hottest show in Hollywood. And I'll go there and I don't know any of the comics. I don't know any of thing that's going on. I don't know nothing. And the room's half full and they're talking about how great it's doing. I go, dude, I could have done half full. I mean,
Yeah, right.
I could draw half full off of
Right.
word of mouth, you know. Just,
I have these table tents, and I send people flyers in the mail.
Dude, I can
Physical mail.
I'll need 3 weeks, but I'll get them.
Yeah, but it's, I guess we have to adjust, And there was an adjustment when when the comedy clubs cut the money. There was an adjustment when a bunch of comedy clubs shut down. There was a big, I'm sure you resisted coming to Ships for a couple times before you actually came out, because there was a big resistance on that from a lot of comics, until it changed up out on Ships. So I guess this is just another adjustment that we're going to have to make.
I'm really interested to see where we're going to be a year from now. You know what I mean? I really want to know. I'm hoping, from the Ship standpoint, I'll be honest with you. I need the Ships to come back. That's really probably.
Oh yeah, me too.
Over 80% of my income is Ships. So
oh yeah,
I'm shuffling to figure it all out right now. So
oh yeah.
And I have theories. I think they'll be back, and I think that we'll be back. And I think it's just going to take some time. And I think there'll be a lot more stand-ups. I think they'll need a lot more stand-ups. I just don't know how many there'll be, because I think a lot of people are going to leave the business. Some won't want to do Ships.
Oh, for sure. I have some friends, some people that we know. I don't want to say their names now because they don't necessarily want everybody to know. But
is it Manny?
They've told me, yeah, I'm probably going to retire because of this. I was thinking about retiring. And now this comes along, and I'm for sure going to retire.
Yeah, I got a couple of friends I know that they said, 6 months ago, they're like another year and a half, 2 maybe. And now they're like, you know what? Nah, that makes sense.
No, not Manny. Manny's not going to retire.
No, Manny's not going anywhere.
Manny's always going to do comedy. Yeah. That guy can't retire.
Dude, I got to call Manny to have him on the show. That would be great.
You do need to have him on the show.
Yeah, I know. I'm working. I'll call him. I'll get him. Or I don't call anyone. I send a text or email. I actually reached out to Caponera last week.
Oh, yeah?
I go, hey, you want to do the show? And he goes, what happened? Did you finally get to me in the Rolodex? I go, dude. I'm not booking the Tonight Show here. It's like none of us have anything going on right now. So,
well, that's the cool part about this is you basically have access to everybody at this point.
Yeah.
Much bigger names than me are happy to do this show.
Yeah, that's the only way you get the big names. Trust me, they're not going anywhere. They're like, oh, okay, yeah, I can do it. I'm like, really? On a Friday? Okay, perfect, thanks.
And you can't say no to another comic right now. they know you're lying.
Yeah, right.
Oh, you're busy. Really?
Yeah. What are you doing? So I use the kids for an excuse all the time. I go, it's the kids. They got a thing.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good.
Dude,
excuse.
Kids are the best excuse for everything. You need to just make up a kid to have an excuse for shit.
I could do that.
Just I gotta go. I gotta call Tommy Jr. Tommy Jr. needs.
I'm gonna invent an imaginary kid. I'll do bits about him.
You should do it, man. I'm telling you, it's a great idea. It gets you out of a lot of crap too. You can get out of the room. I do that a bunch. I'll grab my phone and I'll be like, oh, this is the kid. I gotta go. The daughter. You could do that. You're like, Tommy Jr. just sent me. Just call.
I'm gonna be like my imaginary kid's not talking to me anymore. I don't know what I did, but yeah, he's going through a phase.
He's going through a thing.
He's at that age. He doesn't want to hang around his real life father.
His real life father.
You just imagined a child for me, and I've ruined the relationship within moments.
Within 30
between myself and my imaginary child. That's how bad an imaginary father I am.
Dude,
things were going great.
This is a whole new line of fucking material for you right here. This is perfect.
Yeah, and I will test it out over the next 5 years of Zoom shows.
Do it. That'd be great.
Tighten it up,
I have a similar approach with dating. I do a bit about dating. It's another one I'll be working on. I was like, I don't do well. I do well dating, but relationships, I'm not. I'm really. Everyone's going to end south. Like I can meet someone on Tinder and then go out to dinner. But the problem is, if not 2 minutes into that dinner, I'm trying to think how to get out of the relationship 6 years later. I'm like, I'm already committed to the fact it's going to go well. We're going to enjoy our company. We're going to be friends.
Yeah.
We're going to like it. We're going to move in together. We might get married. That's going to fall apart. It's like, there's always a bad ending at the end of the 6 years.
Well, you're planning ahead. You're a visionary. You're a futurist.
I am. I'm like, what can I tell her 6 years from now that's not going to piss her off? I'm setting the groundwork in the first dinner.
You're in the moment on stage, and off stage, you're 6 years ahead.
All right.
Well, that's a good philosophical question for you. Very quick. If you could see the future, would you want to?
No. I've
me
had
neither.
that question many times.
Me neither.
Absolutely. That's that old thing. There was a Facebook meme going around. If you knew when you were going to die, would you want to know? I'm like, absolutely not.
Yeah, no.
How do you know that stuff?
No.
You know, I like figuring out. I like things happening and just figuring it out.
Yeah.
Yeah. And with that I can't even say that word.
Philosophical.
Yeah. With that philosophical, we're gonna go, dude. This was like an hour and a half. This is the best show I've ever had. This is a long one. This didn't even. I didn't realize
you and I can talk. You and I can just talk.
I just realized we should cut it off because I could go another hour and a half, and we're just basically just talking.
No, for sure.
Dude, thank you so much. I'll have you back on. We'll pick back up where we left off.
Thank you. Yeah, when Caponera backs out on you, I can fill in at the last minute. You know.
When I get back to D on the Rolodexes, I'll find you.
Yeah, and we'll talk about stand-up comedy and comedy history and all that stuff that we like to talk about.
We'll go absolutely, man. Absolutely. Okay. I love it.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks for being here. Guys, everyone say goodbye to Tommy Drake. Give him applause, everybody.
Bye,
give Tommy
everybody.
Drake some applause. That's my good friend Tommy Drake. He's gone. Bam. You guys, that was great. That was awesome. That was really a lot of fun, man. It was a long show today. I apologize. Well, you know, it is the internet. You can always just freeze it, leave, come back, whatever. Look at the background. I like the background, but it's a little bit weird. Wait, let's move over. Wait, wrong way. Let's do this. Yeah. Cool. Thanks for tuning in to Lenny Schmidts Quarantine Comedy. We'll be back every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 6:00. I am back here in 2 days on Wednesday night at 6:00 with my good friend from Chicago, the one and only Steve Seagrin will be here. Steve is a great friend of mine. He's a comic for years. He doesn't do stand-up anymore. He lives out here in LA. He does a lot of acting, a lot of television. And him and I had the pleasure of watching the Bulls run all through the 90s. So we'll probably be talking about the Bulls a little bit. You guys are great. Thank you so much for being here once again. As always, you guys have been great. I keep babbling. If you like the show, come back Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Besides that, as always.
Lenny Schmidts Quarantine Comedy is hosted and produced by, Lenny Schmidt, duh. If you enjoyed today's show, like the video on YouTube, give it a thumbs up or a way to go or whatever the most popular social media thing these kids today are doing. It goes a long way and it really helps us out. Check the description below for info on all today's guests, as well as the host. If you're a fan, you can follow them, like them, or even support them. Go to their site or page and hit their Venmo, PayPal, buy a shirt, an album, a download. Anything you will spend will literally help save the arts. Quarantine Comedy airs on Facebook Live every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 6 p.m. Pacific Time. Each show is recorded, then uploaded to YouTube and released as a podcast the very next day. Also at 6 p.m. Pacific Time. Everything's 6 p.m. We keep it simple. That's all we can handle. Thank you for listening to my dad's show, and as always, dream of Pinky.